I think we are live. It's been a while. I look very different and I feel different. I'm not a big fan. I think the authentication servers are down. I say that real slow. I applied my skin and it just didn't show up, and I was like, okay, whatever. Anyways, we're going to be working on the Economy Plus data pack. This is something I'm going to just stream here and there because it can be a little bit boring to do it by myself, especially when I make dumb mistakes. I'm going to be rewriting the pack into smaller chunks so that plugins will be... I like plugins more than having a really bloated big pack, because the nature of the Economy Plus is kind of being very configurable. And the best way to configure something that you don't want is to just not have it. And that's my goal with making everything into plugins. But today we're going to be working on a specific plugin. And I think it'll be pretty fun, because it's kind of like, I can't remember the name of the plugin in terms of the server, but I know it's an older, much older, sorry, just managing the stream. Like, I can't think of the word, bucket plugin. That basically you select a career and you get bonuses for being in that career, but you have weaknesses in all the other careers. So kind of by diversifying the players, it makes the game slightly more interesting. We'll be working on that for the most part. If you're not familiar with Economy Plus, the main thing is you have shops, you look at it, you can sell an oak log for $1,000. You click it, I got $1,000. So it's kind of like a nice little feature. You get money for selling things. And then let's say there's a shop for a diamond. There's a bunch of settings that are floating text like this. The way it is now, really, things are kind of these things are kind of outdated, actually, with the way data packs can be. So there's max use and dynamic. I like the dynamic one. I think it's the most interesting. So let's say you buy one diamond and how fast it changes. Set it to 1% change rate, the 1 hour cooldown. And the original price is 10. So basically the way it works is, with the dynamic shop, is over time, the more you buy... Oh, I sold it. This is a sell shop. Okay. The more you sell, the less valuable they are, until eventually you're selling them for just one, and that's just a bad deal when you could sell an oak log for 1,000. What I meant to do was grab actually a buy shop. There we go. Walk away from the thing. We'll put it up here. Actually, I would like to make this a dynamic. The particles are kind of annoying. That's another thing that we can change eventually. Set the reset time to 1 hour. And the price will start at 10. So it's cool, you buy a diamond for 10, but now it's going up in price. And you can see how long it'll take to reset there, right below it. It flickers each time, each second, makes it feel like a bomb's gonna go off. So that's kind of the gist of Economy Plus. Is there's a lot more to it. You can set up your own shops. Like, this is more of an admin shop for other players to start with. But then there's, like, if you do trigger market, you can set up your own shop, like if you're from player to player, basically. You can stock it and someone else can buy it. There's things like if you die, Okay, maybe not in this version. But you'll lose money when you die. There's a setting to make it so you drop like a little thing that if you go and pick it up, you gain money. So forth. You also drop your head, which right now is not mine. Oh, hello, Mr. Billy Billington. No problem. If you need any more help, just let me know. I might answer it on Discord. But I will be streaming for the next hour or two. First thing we need, though, my voice, kind of lackluster. And I hope it's not too laggy, but might have to change the bit rate. Oh, that's lousy. There we go. That's better. Let me change the bit rate of my output. Gonna increase that on the fly. Supply. I don't know if that works. I've not streamed in a while. I'm rusty. I got a new microphone, so I don't sound like garbage. Hopefully it sounds decent. Yeah, my bit rate is up. Okay. Hopefully my upload rate can deal with that. First thing we need, though, is music. That's what I was saying. And what's cool is we've got the new music disc jukebox thing, which I think is stupid that it hasn't been here yet. So I think I can just do something like this. Oh, I'm used to stone being there. Try something like this, maybe. Actually, it needs to be a... Other side's good. Put a button here. Get rid of these. What else do we want? Cat's always good. Block is good. Chirp isn't too bad. Pretty much all of them are good except for the ambient ones. Throw these on the floor. Put the rest in here. Does that not? Oh, I'm very dumb. Uh-oh, that's not a good sign for a programming stream. What? Okay. Sure. Okay. Anyways, so we have the different roles, and I thought instead of just being like making extra money, which is it's fun and all, instead of doing that, we will make it to where you actually what you get is better recipes, which is a little bit more interesting. We'll start with mostly the planning, because planning's a little bit more fun than actually doing it. Then we'll probably just set up one to actually make it. So the recipes for a blacksmith. What would a blacksmith make? Well, we think of all armor, all tools. Like, tools. All armor and all tools. It's like kind of the main things. But really, chain armor could be the default. So the way, okay, let me step back a little bit. The way it's going to work is your career, you have either default or better recipes. but everybody else has worse recipes. So like, let's say you go to make iron armor, well, it comes out as chain armor because that's just the way it works. But if you're a blacksmith, then you have the recipe for iron armor and diamond armor. And diamond tools and iron tools and gold armor. Leather armor, I think, should just be default. There's not going to be a leather worker because it's kind of dumb to have saddles and just leather armor as something you could make. Maybe horse armor, but yeah. So blacksmith, all armor, all tools. Maybe blast furnace and blast furnace. So they get both of those things fairly cheap. And then the smithing table. Andiel, what are you doing here? Nice to see you. Blacksmith. I just lost my train of thought. Thank you. No, man, I cannot think what I was just saying. He's everywhere and not anywhere all the time. He's ethereal. Okay, so really nothing here a blacksmith would on. Maybe ingots, like the netherite ingot. Maybe upgrade smithing table. That's where I was at. So and recipes for it. So if you're turning your diamond sword into a netherite sword, ideally you're a blacksmith because that's better. And I think that's pretty much it for the blacksmith. So basically it's taking tools and ores and turning them into useful items. So I've got architect and I also have builder. So builder is going to be more of like a decorator. I like the detail stuff. So paintings, item frames, maybe flower pots, etc. So like if you go to, I guess there's not really a decoration block. There's colored blocks. Maybe candles. I don't have a landscaper. I don't think that's... There's going to be a farmer, which is kind of the same thing. I know it's not, but similar. Oh yeah, we get the new... this is nice to have that. We'll just leave that there. But the architect, I was thinking more of like the fundamental building blocks. So like turning your stone into stone bricks and blackstone bricks. And so maybe it's a 4-to-1 normally, but then it's a 4-to-4 when you're a architect. Just put... And then other maybe concrete powders and concrete. So maybe you can actually craft concrete powder into concrete with a water bucket, so you don't have to place it as a architect. Small things like that that are kind of quality of life. Oh, I could put redstone. Well, we'll maybe think about that. Oh, I do have decorator. Let's get rid of that. Redstoner. Nice. Okay, I don't think this thing works at all. I'm small-brained. Can I place a target block? Does this work? Yeah. to do it fancier. I just want to listen to music and not get copyright struck. Okay, I think this will work. I think the redstone was powering this hopper and causing problems. Okay, back to this. The redstone. So farmer, maybe I'm stupid, but I think I'm not sure if you can make different recipes. Like if you have stone, if one player mines it, you can have a different drop than a different player. If so, farmer will be more about crops. And then maybe hose. Or your mom. But mostly simple farming stuff. Hay bales. Balls. Hay bales. What's it called? Smoker, maybe? They make a mean smoked brisket. I don't know. So farmer is kind of about food, supplying like maybe cheap bread, cookie, kind of like farmer, baker, kind of go hand in hand. Maybe add bees into that. I was thinking of adding bees into rancher, but they're all kind of the same. Miner, of course, good lord, torches, ore is a really big one to modify. If I can modify the drop rate, I'll just double miners ore, or I could modify the recipe to where you smelt iron ore and it only gives 1 nugget for everybody else, but for the miner it gives that'd be brutal. Maybe he also gets the blast furnace, like they share the blast furnace recipe, or they have different recipes that are more enhanced for them. That'd be kind of interesting. Is there anything else miner related? What would you want if you were a miner? One who entered the mines. Mostly ores, which sounds like not very much, but actually is huge if you modify the ore drops for one player. I think we'll just stick with that, because you can modify redstone and lapis too. Okay, soldier. They can maybe craft tridents, shields, bow plus arrow. Question. We're going to. So we're making a data pack about. For an economy plus, which is basically a data pack for building an economy, but this is a plugin for it where each player can pick a different career. So some players get specific careers. I was working on miner, like what bonuses does a miner get, and it has to do with recipes only, not they get money when they go mining, because that's kind of boring. I want a miner to feel like you get more items, so they have to build a shop. I want it to have them build reasons to build a shop, not reasons to not build a shop, if that makes sense. So, TNT. Yeah, so what's interesting about the way this is going to work, I kind of want them to shake hands with each other. So, like if you have one player that's a miner, he's going to befriend the blacksmith, because the blacksmith's going to be able to give him better recipes for tools. And then the miner can mine the tools and get better ore rates, and then they can exchange ore for tools, and there's like a really good exchange rate there. So kind of like the buffed picks would go more into the blacksmith, if that makes sense. Because we're not really adding new functionality to the game, we're kind of almost restricting it to where you want to interact with the economy more, if that makes sense. Which I hope will be fun. I don't know. If not, then we will change things around. Soldiers mostly about fighting. Maybe if I can change mob drop, I think I can if the player has a tag or a score or something. Give them a specific loot table to like double their drops, which would be kind of sweet. Builders mostly about decoration, but we can do a little bit more. A little bit more with that. What else can you build? Decorations. Okay, here's probably what I'm looking for. Candles, banners, loom. Maybe they can make the loom recipes or something. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. So blocks you can't normally get. Be cool if the debug stick worked, and I don't think it works in survival mode. Maybe it does. Just get a nether star with a stick, and it becomes a. That'd be kind of sweet. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work, but maybe I'm just dumb. Yeah, see, that's so dumb. That'd be a really fun upgrade. Is there any blocks that you can't really get? Can you mine the... I don't want these because you can just place them down and then can't remove them. Like I don't want to just give the player a stack of bedrock, but can you can mine this, right? Oh, 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Like the amethyst bud. You can get amethyst clusters if you silk touch them. That's what's kind of sad is you can just get every item in the game just by silk touching it practically. But reinforced deep slate, I know you can't get, but can you just mine it? I think you can mine it, right? Oh no, this would be a very fun grief tool. I don't think you can mine it. Oh no, you can. No, this would be brutal. Okay. I don't think I should give that to players. Tall grass would be interesting. I mean, it doesn't really give you much. Maybe you can craft gilded blackstone and craft ores. Stuff like that. Maybe as a builder you can re-dye things. That'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm gonna add that. Builder. And then yeah, tall grass. I'll put it on there. Might be fun. Right, tall fern, I might as well. Yeah, so builder, I think I'm gonna change that to decorator because I had it down there. It's more about decoration, and then architect is more about the structure. So like if you're building a castle, you want to be an architect, but if you're furnishing the castle, you want to be a decorator. If that makes sense. So yeah, architect basically does that. Bricks are cheaper for all types than new recipes. There's so many blocks in the game. Maybe a decorator can... So like if you have dirt and grass, you can craft a grass block. Not very useful, but early game it'd be kind of nice. Nice little quality of life things. And then alchemist. Well, that's pretty easy. So ingredients. There is a little bit of a caveat of like, oh, sorry. Things like, okay, you can't really get this without it just being an item you have, right? You just get it straight from the spider. But with a... Oh, it's in the ingredients, of course. So with like blaze powder, you maybe get four for a rod, which would be actually really nice. Fermented spider eye, maybe you get 3 for a recipe instead of just 1. Not glistening, it's glistering melon. Maybe normally it takes 8 gold ingots, and with this as an alchemist, you only need 8 gold nuggets. And same with gold carrot. So it's like if you really need those things, you can still make them, but it makes sense to trade with somebody who's an alchemist that makes the things. And maybe instead of a turtle shell, helmet is cheaper as an alchemist. Kind of like weird wonky items. And you can craft some of these things that you normally have to collect. Like a dragon's breath, you can craft maybe 8 bottles around a head, and you get 8 of them. Or you have some other way of getting it that's at least somewhat interesting. I don't know. Because some items in the game are like, they're kind of too much of a hassle, especially like Dragon's Breath. Why would you get that? Just ignore the fact that lingering exists. Rancher, definitely saddles and horse armor, as well as maybe improved livestock drops. So if you kill a cow, it's much better. And I had a few other ideas and I can't think of it now. Like carrot on a stick. Maybe you can't craft that normally. Leads. You get like 8 instead of just 1 or 2. This coas. Oh, bees. Just in general. There's a lot of expense with bees. Librarian. Books and bookshelves. Enchantment table could be much cheaper to make. I'll add lectern. It's kind of a dumb item, but sure. Actually, we can do lectern and cartography table. Oh wait, no, cartography actually makes more sense as the explorer. And I want the Explorer to be able to craft an elytra. I know it's kind of absurd, but I think that would be kind of a nice bonus for them. And it's going to be real expensive, nothing cheap. But I think that would be somewhat nice. What else does an Explorer get? Oh, maybe you can craft totems. That'd be neat. Maps, of course. Compass. The recovery compass is much cheaper. Item you wouldn't really use because it's so expensive. But maybe instead of just 4, or I think it might be 8 actually, it's just 1. Maybe lodestone. This would be cool. Lodestone doesn't take a netherite ingot. I always thought lodestones were like kind of too expensive to make any sense. And then these, maybe. Boats are not that bad. Like, I don't want to make boats annoying to make for people. I think that would be stupid. So that's kind of the gist of the pack. Basically, you pick a profession. And I think I'm just going to do a trigger. So you do trigger career, like that. And then it'll open up a menu. You pick what career you want. You pick an item. And then if you do it again after you've chosen a career, you will get a menu to confirm if you want to leave your career. So there's going to be a penalty for leaving a career, which is, I think it's just going to be a timer. You can't run the command for, I don't know, 2 hours or something. So you can't just swap back and forth. I think 2 hours is a good default. So I think what I want to do is open up a generator real quick. And I'm not going to show this because there's not much to see. I just want to see real quick if there is a loot table, if you can change the loot based on, or really how easy it is to change based off of like what the entity is. So like if you're a player and you mine, let's see. Yeah, if you're a player and you mine a block, will it give you, can you make it give you a different block depending on the player, not depending on what, I mean, you should be able to, right? Okay, so I can make it, yeah. I can make something drop stone if your career is 1, but cobblestone if it's everything else. Yeah, I think that'll be kind of nice. I'm pretty sure you can do that. I thought you could, but I want to just see how easy it is. So which one should we start with? What would be the most fun? Most fun. This one sounds kind of tedious. Oh, I forgot to add TNT to miner. I want TNT to be cheap because that is fun, no matter who you are. We can do this one because miner is all about... Oh, blacksmith? Okay, yeah, we'll start with blacksmith then. Good choice. That one's kind of easy. So kind of what we need to plan out first. I'll get some chests for this. The default recipe and then the blacksmith recipe, like what they would do. So I was thinking, what's the first thing you do in a world? You want to get iron armor. That's not the first thing you do. You punch a tree, but you know what I mean. So what if instead of getting iron armor, you got chain armor? Lame. This is what you get. How can I make it to where you get... fail. You can get iron armor. Because you can't have the same recipe for two things, and I want the miner to not lose out on making chainmail. How hard is it to craft a chain? It's okay, that's what I thought. And you get one chain. Okay, I think I'm going to buff this recipe to get 2. So it's slightly cheaper than making iron armor. But you just can't make iron armor. That'll be a lot more interesting. So you make chains into chainmail. And most people just be running around on chainmail. That's fine. But then if you're an armor smith, you get iron. And same goes for tools. You just can't craft iron tools. You can't get certain tools early game. Like that would be brutal unless you found them or bought them from a villager. So I mean, there's never going to be gold armor. There's never going to be diamond. I mean, you're never going to need it without going to like the nether or something. And by that time you'll have a blacksmith probably. I'm just curious, will locking off iron pickaxes be too brutal? Maybe. Maybe it will be. Okay, maybe we'll do this. Normal pleb recipe. Blacksmith. 9 times cheaper. We could buff it just a little bit so it's not as bad. So as a blacksmith, like, you really want to give people a reason to go to you. And then that can translate to diamond. So you can pay, oh, come on. Here's your 2 recipes. Like, that's brutal, right? So we want the player to find a blacksmith, but they can progress. Pickaxe is the only tool you need diamond. I think other stuff, there might be like a very specific hoe example, but we can skip that. Not worry about that. So other tools, you're stuck at stone level, which is interesting. So that's all armor, all tools. The furnace we can nerf to be polished stone. And that polished stone involves stuff like these. So I'll just throw a couple of them in there. So like, this isn't the recipe. This is like an example of what the recipe could be. They're kind of interchangeable. So like these are all like the second tier of stone. You smelt it once to get the first tier. You smelt it again to get the second tier. Or you can craft it with these. We'll see. That might be interesting. And then the what's the blast furnace? So yeah, make these iron blocks. And then normal furnace. There we go. So maybe we could actually remove the blast furnace and make it an ore doubling tool that only the blacksmith can make. That would be kind of cool. I always thought blast furnace should be an ore doubling tool because the way the game is now, there's really not a reason to make it. You can just make a bigger set of furnaces that can smelt everything. But if we did that, then there'd be much reason. And then smithing table. Do I have that recipe? I do. Nice. So we'll just restrict this recipe. You have to have a blacksmith to make a smithing table. And then the recipes, I think we can keep them the same. Yeah. There's like a lot of advantage already. And so that's kind of how all of the people will end up being. Hand over. You join a career, you get better recipes. Like that's a huge leap. And you don't need better armor, so chain is the default. Oh, Tony Diamond's in the chat. Tony, I have to start streaming because you're going to pass me up in subs, and I'm kind of sad about it. Oh, he left. Maybe? No, he's still here, I think. Maybe not. Yep, he's still here. How long have I been streaming anyways? When did I start? Almost an hour. Oh, so this thing stopped working. I don't understand. Maybe this locks it? Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, you're 42 subs. That's brutal. No, you've been farming that the shorts, YouTube Shorts game, and it's been working out for you. That's pretty cool. Yeah, 200 in a month is kind of absurd, actually, for starting out. Once you're Mr. Beast, that's like 200 in a second. That's no big deal. But I think I'm just gonna skip the data pack stuff, because that's not why we're here. I mean, come on, that's boring. We'll just I like this planning recipes thing. It's a little bit more fun. So for the architect, I was thinking, and this applies for pretty much all of the stone brick, like anything you make out of bricks. Maybe I can just type in brick. There we go. Anything with a brick recipe. Oh, actually, that's what I wanted. Normally, it'll be a 4-to-1, but with being an architect, you get 4-to-4. Like, that's nice. That's huge. And then concrete powder. Get gravel and sand together. Let's just get some white dye for the example. So normally, it's like this. So you burn through dye a lot faster. And then you get the normal recipe once you, and I put that in the wrong spot. You get the normal recipe once you're an architect. So it doesn't really save you much, like, but a lot of dye, which is kind of the worst part of concrete powder. And then on top of that, I'll have to make sure you can do this, but you unlock this recipe too. So just surround it in a bucket. This does not work. This is lousy. Just do this. What? How? I'm tired. Small brain redstone contraption. Okay. I think we're just going to hit an hour because of my brain falling apart. Redstone, I'm going to skip redstone. That's kind of touchy. There'll be a few things that I think it'll just be you lock off these two. And then having redstone people would be brutal. Maybe adding the fancy dispenser recipe. That'd be kind of cool. Also, welcome back, Billy Billington. I decided not to program anything because that's boring. We're just doing the fun part, which is planning. Not always the fun part, but this time it is. So if we nerf the redstone repeater recipe, what would that look like? How do you make a redstone repeater? Oh, I threw my crafting table away. Okay. Could we just nerf it by doing this? And maybe smooth stone at the bottom? Oh, that would be... That'd be kind of mean. Let's do it. Default recipe. Change to this. A lot of waste. Yeah, it's actually less stone, but it's more smelting, which is the hard part of that. And then, of course, the default recipe. Comparator, kind of the same vein. I'm not going to quartz block instead of quartz, single quartz. And then smooth slabs. Getting far away from this, so it's kind of annoying. And then there's a nice, if you have a dropper, there's kind of a nice recipe that someone made. This will be like a kind of a bonus. You can make the fancy dropper or dispenser recipe. So you don't have to make the bow and craft them one at a time. Like, that's the best. That feels so nice. I think there's data packs that just add this recipe in. Those three. Observer, we'll look at the observer. Okay, we don't have it. No, we probably do. Yep, just got it. Just make that smooth stone. You can keep these because you use a lot of observers. That would just be mean. But that goes on pretty much how the game will work. Things are more expensive. It's not really a game, it's just data pack. Things are more expensive for the general person, but cheaper. Maybe same price, but you get bonuses for the expert in that field. The TNT, I'm going to just make it, you get 5 TNT instead of 1. Be awesome. Soldier, I might make it to where it actually works with the pack. Bonus, bounty, earnings. So if you're a soldier and there's a bounty on someone, you really want to go for it because you get bonuses for it. That'd be kind of fun. But we did 3 of them. We'll probably change the pistons too. And that's pretty much it. Unless you change the dropper, but I don't want to do that. And hopper you really can't change without making it absurdly expensive. Yeah, miner's going to get double or triple ore one way or another. And torches. Well, better torches. It's going to be a 1-to-1 for everyone else. 1-to-4 for miner. Yeah. So that's generally going to be how this works. I think this thing still does not work. That is absurd. That's proof I need to leave. I need to stop the stream because I can't get this stupid thing to work. There we go. All right. Well, I will continue on. Actually, as a bonus, I'll show you the progress on the actual Economy Plus. Well, I don't want to say the actual one, but the current, what it's looking like. So instead of doing signs for the shop, I'm going to have one where you place, but after you place it, this is just to get the position. So like it's hard to place anything else. I could do an item frame maybe, but I think the sign's kind of the easiest. Then you right click it once, you set the shop item. So what item do we want? Maybe make it diamond. It'll stay there. And then there's going to be a unit price. And that's as far as I've gotten. This stuff is really tedious. I'm thinking of doing a numpad. I think that would look the best. So like if you want 10, you do 10 or 1, 0, enter. If you do like something wrong, then there's a backspace where it divides by 10 and just deletes the last integer or last value, last digit. Or 0 just multiplies by 10. So that algorithm's super simple, but I think it'd be better than the circular menu that you have in the other pack. I'll show you that. The reason the circular menu looks nice, but it's massive and it's also let me see. Actually, I would do a trigger. So let's say I wanted to sell stripped dark oak logs. It was very specific, but sure. Do I want to buy or sell it? Well, I want this is other people, so other people are buying it. How many do I want? Well, usually, let's say 16 is probably how many you want to buy at a time. The price, let's make it $30. So you see those radial menus. They're nice, but they're different each time. And so as the owner of the shop, you gotta stock it. So if I walk away, there's four units in stock. So 4 times 16 is how many's actually in stock. That's confusing. I'm gonna change that to be, you can just choose how many you want to buy. So like instead of buying 16, you can say I want to buy 5. But it will have to, like the math will always hurt you rather than help you. Or it'll always break even. So like I could do 8 and 15, but I couldn't do any lower than that. But EconomyPlus, very complex data pack. Lots of stuff I need to rework with it because of the new entities. It still works fine, the old one. Not too bad. But lots of little changes I want to make. But if you enjoyed this, let me know. If you didn't enjoy it, also let me know, because I'm thinking of doing this a handful of times. It's kind of fun to chat with everybody. But I know development live streams are not that fun to watch. So that's valid. Anyways, thanks for watching. And as always, have a great day. Say bye in my weird old skin. Bye, Tony Diamond. Bye, Billy Billington, if you're still here. I'll see you later. If I can find my stop button. There we go. Stop streaming.